All right, I'm pleased to be joined by Congresswoman Barbara Lee. And, something that I found really interesting about the Moneyball Act is if you look at what's been going on with the A's and their saga with Oakland, it's that Oakland and Alameda County have really had to bear the burden of trying to keep the team. But Congressman Mark DeSaulnier also signed on to this Moneyball Act. So it's a little Contra Costa County help there, too. So, what is this act all about and how much does it help to get something like this passed?
Sure. First of all, let me thank you very much for having me. And we've invested a heck of a lot of money into making sure that we have met all of their requirements. And then, boom, they decide to leave. So if they're going to leave, they need to reinvest and compensate the community in which they have, in many ways, used and then decided to make a move. And so I believe the bill has no less than 10 years of tax revenue, and we don't know how much that is, but we need to repair the damage of what they have done to our city and to our county. And we're going after their exemption unless they, come forward and do the right thing.
Now, there have been many challenges in the past to MLB's antitrust exemption. Sometimes these things can drag out, go all the way to the Supreme Court. So how would passing this act work quicker? How would this work in terms of getting something done in time to really deter them from actually moving to Las Vegas?
Well, I think the message is very clear, and other members of Congress who have teams, they're looking at this bill also. I mean, when you look at the bipartisanship, even though it's not the same bill in the Senate, we have two Republican senators who are working on one. And so we're not saying this is going to be quick and easy, but we are building support for this. And the message should be sent to any team, including now the A's, that they need to reconsider what they have done. And if they don't reconsider it, we're going to build support to make sure that they compensate our communities for their misdeeds in many respects and not really living up to what the agreements which our mayors have made with them.
Now, I saw that you wrote a letter to MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred detailing your concern about the A's leaving Oakland. Did he ever respond to you? Did he get back to you about that letter?
Yes, we received a response, and it was pathetic, really. It was, in many ways, I almost say a cover-up, a justifying a heck of a lot of what just did not happen. And so we did receive a response fairly quickly, and the response was inadequate, and that's why we moved forward with the bill.
Now, I feel like a lot of his responses lately, especially when in regards to Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao, have been inadequate as well. Do you see any way to bridge this gap? Is there any way to get everybody back on the same page with Major League Baseball? Because Major League Baseball right now is seeming to be acting a little bit absurd, if you ask me.
Well, first of all, they're waiving his relocation fee. That's the first thing. They should stop. They should not do that. So hopefully this bill will help them reconsider that. But also, and again, I'm not involved directly in the negotiations. That's why we had to wait until we introduced this bill, because the negotiations were taking place. It's my position that they need to come back to the table. I know the mayor wants to continue with the negotiations, and that should happen. And hopefully this will give them a little more understanding of why that they should go back to the table, or possibly, pay the price.
Now, I read an article in the LA Times. Manfred was quoted as saying, and I'm going to read this: "The principal utility of the exemption is it allows us to be more aggressive than other leagues in terms of preventing franchise relocation. It is a fan-friendly doctrine." That's him talking about the antitrust exemption. So is that a reason why you've kind of pounced on the antitrust exemption as a way to pursue keeping the A's here?
Sure, if he really believes that, then why is he waiving the relocation fee? It just doesn't make any sense. I think that exposes exactly what they're up to, and it's not right. And so we want them to compensate minimally our community for what they have done.
Now, you mentioned earlier some Republicans also are talking antitrust exemption. They're doing it for a bit different reasons. I'm not sure they're really on the up and up, but is there a way you see a path to bipartisan support, a way to get this thing passed? Do you see that happening?
Of course, they're doing it for different reasons, and we know who they are, and why they're doing it. But I'm building support in the House and talking to Democrats and Republicans, especially those who have teams in their districts who are talking about relocating, to build the kind of congressional support in the House that we need.
Now, this might be a weird question, but who came up with the name? Because it's named sort of after the Moneyball movie. It's a reference to the Brad Pitt film on the Oakland A's. Who was to give credit? Who was the one that came up with that name? It was a creative name.
Well, I give credit to my staff. They're very creative, and they understand this issue and have been following it and have been advising me on a variety of strategies and concepts and names and just really how to put together this type of a bill. And so I give a lot of credit. It's not my idea, it's my staff's, and we looked at it and I said, yes, let's go with it. It makes sense.
Good job giving props to your staff too. That's cool. Good job, staff. I appreciate that. Hopefully Sean had something to do with that. He's fantastic. And last question for you. I know you're really busy. I know you got to go. You sent a message the day of the reverse boycott to A's fans. Were you surprised at just how well that went off? Were you impressed with the way all that transpired? I was there. It was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen at the Oakland Coliseum, and I've seen a lot there.
Well, I know the A's fans. I'm an A's fan. I actually threw out the first pitch on July 4th several years ago. So I wasn't surprised. I just wanted to be there. And I was in Washington, D.C. doing my job as an appropriator that day. And so it was very exciting for me and also for the fans.
Yeah, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. All right, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, thank you so much for your time. I know you got far more important things to do. I really appreciate it.
Now, this is important. I hope people understand what we're doing and support it. And thank you for giving me a chance to talk with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.